So I made a video comparing the biggies with the i7 14700HX and RTX 4060 in 2024, of which the better overall choice came out to be the Acer Predator Helios Neo 16 in terms of ports, screen, performance, and features. And now a new challenger has entered, the MSI Crosshair, with the same specs, which is seriously overpowered and may just dethrone the undisputed king. Let's compare these two beasts in this video on factors like specifications, build, screen, ports, features, performance, upgradability, and price, and find out which one comes on top. Starting with the general specifications, laptops have exact same specifications, that is the Intel Core i7 14700HX with 20 cores and 28 threads, and RTX 4060 with 8GB GDDR6 VRAM and a maximum TDP of 140 watts and a 1TB Gen 4 NVMe. It has a 16GB DDR5 RAM clocked at 5600 MHz, but the only difference is that while MSI Crosshair has 16GB RAM in dual channel, Helios 16 has 16GB RAM in single channel. So Helios Neo 16 has a slight edge over the MSI Crosshair, as upgrading it to 32GB will only require one 16GB stick instead of two 16GB sticks for MSI Crosshair. Now talking about the build, both laptops fashion a gamerly look, looking too damn good sitting on a desk, but Helios fashion a slightly edgy and a sleek look, while Crosshair has somewhat thick and rounded look. Helios comes with metal top lid and polycarbonate body, while Crosshair comes with all polycarbonate body. Mind it, the polycarbonate body of Crosshair does not feel cheap at all. It's quite sturdy, with a solid build with minimal top lid flicks, minimal keyboard flicks, and both can be opened with one hand, hinting at stable hinges for both, as there is also no screen wobble present in both of the laptops. So in this aspect, although Helios has a slight edge, but I would call it a tie. Both have a full-sized keyboard, although both of them have a cramped numpad, which is super uncomfortable to use. Helios has 4 zones of RGB, while Crosshair has 24 zone RGB, which almost looks like perky RGB. So Crosshair does have an edge in aesthetics, also with this transparent WASD and arrow keys. Helios has a bigger touchpad, if that matters, and has smaller bezels than Crosshair. And both laptops have 4 vents, 2 on back and 2 on the sides. Coming to the screen, both laptops have a 16-inch IPS 2K panel with a native resolution of 2560 by 1600 and an aspect ratio of 16 by 10 with a contrast ratio of 1600 by 1. However, MSI Crosshair has a higher refresh rate of 240Hz as compared to 165 of Helios, and has a slightly higher color gamut of 100% DCI-P3 as compared to 99% of Helios. But Helios has a higher brightness of 500 nits as compared to 300 nits of MSI Crosshair. So all in all, the specifications of the screen for both laptops is almost the same. While Helios Neo 16 has higher brightness, MSI Crosshair has a much higher refresh rate of 240Hz, which is actually hard to come by even in this price range. So just because of the higher refresh rate, I would say MSI Crosshair wins this round. Now about the ports, both laptops have 3 USB Type-A ports and have ports on all 3 sides. So in terms of port placement, both laptops are great. But while MSI Crosshair has only one USB Type-C port, that too is not a Thunderbolt 4 port, Helios Neo 16 has 2 USB Type-C ports and both of them are Thunderbolt 4 ports. Moreover, Helios Neo 16 has an SD card reader, which the MSI Crosshair doesn't. So in terms of ports, Helios Neo 16 is definitely the winner. Comparing some of the features, both laptops have a 90Wh battery, both laptops do not have an MS Office pre-installed, both of them have a 720p webcam, and both laptops have a mux switch with no advanced Optimus. So no difference here. So I compared the performance benchmarks of both laptops with following results. In terms of multi-core performance, MSI Crosshair scored a higher Cinebench R23 score, but Helios Neo 16 scored a higher single-core score. But the situation is reversed in Geekbench, as MSI Crosshair scored a higher single-core score, while Helios Neo 16 scored higher multi-core score. In 3D Mark Time Spy, Helios Neo 16 got better scores all over, but in this particular case, I would say that the scores are within the margin of error. So from the the performance benchmarks, I feel that MSI Crosshair did perform a little better than Helios, giving a higher Cinebench R23 score, but in my books it is just the same and can differ in different situations. Since I was not satisfied with the performance benchmark, I compared some game tests of both laptops. All of these games were tested at 2K resolution with ray tracing turned on, DLSS turned on, even frame generation was turned on wherever possible, and here are the results. Although in games like GTA 5, Valorant, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Hogwarts Legacy, the performance gap was between 3 to 7%, MSI Crosshair gave 10 to 18% better performance in heavy titles like RDR2, Cyberpunk, and Forza Horizon 5. Even the temperatures of Crosshair were cooler than those of Helios Neo 16 in most of the titles. So clearly, in terms of performance, Crosshair is the winner. But Neo 16 was not that far behind, giving great performance on its own. But as they say,
it don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
In terms of upgradability, both laptops have 2 RAM slots and 2 M.2 slots. But MSI Crosshair has one advantage and one disadvantage over the Helios. The one advantage that MSI Crosshair has is that among the 2 M.2 slots, one has Gen 5 NVMe support, while in Helios it has both Gen 4. And the one disadvantage that Crosshair has is that upgrading it comes at a cost of voiding the warranty, as it has a factory seal on one of the screws. So if you plan on updating your Crosshair before the warranty is over, your warranty would be voided. So with Crosshair, either you can risk voiding the warranty or wait for the warranty to be over to upgrade it, or you'll just have to rely on the service center to upgrade your laptop. And finally, the price comparison. While Helios Neo 16 will cost you about 1,36,000, Crosshair costs around 1,40,000. Not a very huge difference to make a shift in decision. I mean, if you are spending about 1,40,000, the difference of 4,000 won't really matter. So to sum it up, while Helios has a slimmer design, bigger touchpad, brighter screen, better ports with no factory seal on upgradability, Crosshair has a better keyboard with 24-zone RGB, a better screen with 240Hz screen, gives an option for Gen 5 NVMe, and the most important of all, it has better performance. So on paper, MSI Crosshair wins this comparison and is slightly better laptop than the Helios. In my personal opinion, both laptops are equally good because the performance gap is not really that big and even the temperature difference was not that huge. And it is possible that Helios may come on top if I test both the laptops again with all the driver updates in the same room temperature. But take that with a grain of salt, as I am a hardcore Helios fan. So this is my comparison of both Helios Neo 16 and MSI Crosshair. I hope my comparison helped. If it did, please do leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel for more.